You're listening to the Intuitive Souls podcast. I am your host, Erica Russo, and this podcast is designed to educate, inspire, and enlighten. Let's wake up together. Hey guys, and welcome to the Intuitive Souls podcast. If this is your first time tuning in, welcome. Super excited that the universe led you here. If you are an OG and you keep on coming back, how are you? How you doing? Thanks for coming back. Thanks for listening to me. Thanks for giving this podcast to people that might benefit from it. I fucking love every single one of you. And if this podcast is helping you, if the conversations are giving you those aha moments, if you're learning something, if it's giving you that confidence to be more confident on your spiritual journey, I would really appreciate it if you can just take a minute and head on over to iTunes and write a 5-star review, because those reviews allow me to get this podcast to the ears that need to hear it. But before you go ahead and submit, make sure you take a screenshot and send that screenshot over to me at hello@ericarusso.co. And I'm going to send you my soul alignment activation for free, just as a thank you, because I really do truly appreciate every single one of you and all of the support that you guys give me. So let's talk briefly. I want to let you guys know that the cart for my Business My Divine 6-week one-on-one business coaching program for spiritual brands is closing at 11:59 p.m. this coming Tuesday. This is my beta program for spiritual entrepreneurs looking to grow and scale their business in a massive way. This is a really super unique program because not many business programs offer you that one-on-one connection. This one does, because my intuition is my greatest superpower, and my connection, my one-on-one connection with people, is also a strength that I hold. And I build my business off of my strengths. And that is basically what I teach you to do as well. And that is just, I'm really so fucking stoked about this program because I've already attracted like some amazing healers coming on. So if you are interested in having a one-on-one business mentoring program, if you are at that place where you just need to learn a little bit more about growing and scaling your online business, if you want to learn how to gain a bigger following, grow your email list, grow your followers on all your social medias, engage in your audience, attract your ideal client without feeling salesy, without not being out of alignment with your message, your brand, your meeting, I would highly suggest booking a discovery call with me, because this is at beta pricing. This is the lowest price possible this is program of this magnitude will ever be. And I'm offering interest-free monthly payments up to 12 months. So seriously consider it. Again, you have until Tuesday, and then the next time I offer this, I don't know if I'm even offering it this time in the fall. I really don't. It might be next year. So definitely be sure to schedule a free discovery call. You can head on over to my website and book one, or you can head on over to my Instagram. Make sure you're following me on Instagram and book through the link in my bio. So let's talk about this episode. Guys, I'm really super excited about this because I have teamed up with Jeni Juranics, a psychic medium in Canada. I'm going to give you a little backstory about how we connected, but every month we are going to come on and we're going to do an episode where we answer your questions, where we give insight, and we just kind of let two mediums talk, and it's going to be epic. And I'm really excited about it because between my platform and hers, we get a lot of questions, and a lot of these questions are very repetitive, and a lot of these questions a lot of people have. So why not make an episode about it? Now, if you have a question, okay, if you do have a question that you would like an answer to or some insight on, you can send your questions to questions@ericarusso.co. And be patient with us because this is only a month. Every month we do this. But your question might be answered live, or not live, but recorded on the next episode. Again, all of this information will be in the show notes for you. We're super excited for it. We really are looking forward to this because we want to help, and we want to give you guys some peace of mind and clarity. So this is a great way for us to do that and not be in our DMs and our message requests all of the time trying to answer everybody. So that is that. We had a really great time just going through old messages that were actually in my Instagram, and answering them this time around. So I hope you guys enjoy this episode. It's so much fun. Like, me and Jeni actually met at the Tony Stockwell workshop last summer, and it was just like love at first sight, I feel like, because we just saw each other. We were like, yep, yeah, we're sitting together. You're my friend now. That's it. You're stuck with me. And we've been really tight ever since, and she's just awesome, and I'm super excited that we decided to do this together because it's going to be fun. So enjoy this episode, guys, and I will talk to you soon. All right, you guys, today I have Jeni Juranics with me again, and we decided that when we get together, we're going to answer some of your questions. Guys, I get so many questions in my Instagram, in my TikTok, and it's just, I can't get to all of them. So what we're going to do, and Jeni gets a lot as well. So we have went through some of our message requests, and we're going to answer some of your questions here because we believe that your questions might be somebody else's questions. So if we can answer them here, we're helping more than one person. So the first off, Jeni, thank you for coming on.
Thanks for having me. I'm always happy to be here.
Yes, absolutely. So the first message that I have received, I'm not going to say the person's name just for privacy reasons, but it says, "Hi, my name is blank. I'm newish to your TikTok account and I'm a huge fan. I really love your energy. Anyway, about a year ago, I was told by a couple of friends that I'm an empath. And at the time, I didn't know what that was. So I did some research and I think I might be, but only like a little bit, if that makes sense, like a baby empath. Like lots of people tell me things about themselves they've never told anybody else, and I can pick up on some people's energies as well as take on others people's emotions. Sometimes I can sort things out and know that they are not mine. If these things do in fact make me an empath, is there a way I can like zero in on this gift and make it stronger? If I am in fact a person gifted with being an empath, I'd love to use that to help others. And I was hoping that maybe you can help me." So Jeni and I are both empaths. So we know a thing or two about a thing or two.
Just a bit.
Yeah, just a bit. So it does seem like, empaths and highly sensitive people. So basically, first I want to say that there is a difference between a highly sensitive person and an empath. And that difference is empaths can take on the emotions and feelings and the energy of other people, whereas highly sensitive people don't really do that, but they still have that increased awareness and sensitivity. So what do you say to that, Jeni?
I've never really thought about separating the two before. I feel like I've always kind of considered them overlapping, but different, like you say.
Right.
I think that when it comes to her saying she's maybe a baby empath, I think to me that's more that she might need to become aware of her own sensitivities, her own, her own emotions. And that might be why she's considering herself to sometimes pick up on other people and sometimes not. I'm not sure what she meant by baby empath. I'm just guessing there, but yeah.
I mean, I think when she's talking about baby empath is that she's just so new to the concept. And it's a very new thing because honestly, I think every human being walking this earth has a level of empathy or is empathic to some degree. That's how we are designed as humans. Mm-hmm. We hold empathy for others. And the whole term baby empath, I wouldn't say baby empath. If you're an empath, you're an empath.
Yeah.
And you're going to find that you're more sensitive to other things, certain things, than other things. And that's just the way the cookie crumbles. So the first thing I would say is really, you got to be, like you said, like, get in touch with your own energy. Okay. And when you're feeling that energetic arousal or the anxiety or whatever, you need to really be the observer and ask, like, is this mine? Why am I feeling this way? Am I pissed off about something? Am I worried about something? And if you sit there and you're like, I'm not really anxious about anything, chances are you're picking it up from somebody else.
So true.
So, I mean, I would say start a daily grounding and grounding and protection ritual. It's really super important for empaths to ground, like super important.
Yeah.
What are some ways that you ground, Jeni?
Nature.
Yeah.
Bare feet.
Yep.
Breathing, deep breaths, meditation, visualization. I mean, there's so many ways to ground.
Yeah, there really is. And like for me, I don't get out of bed until I ground and protect. That's just what I do. It's what's easiest for me. But again, like you said, there's so many ways to ground your energy, as well as protect your energy. But like I would also get a crystal like selenite or black tourmaline, anything that's like has protective qualities. I feel like every hematite's good too.
Yeah.
Yeah. Shugnite too. Shungite. Shungite. Yeah. I would definitely invest in some sort of protection crystal. And selenite is good too, but really just learning the basics, you know what I mean? Being aware of your own energy. Balance is really important. Like having a balanced lifestyle, because you can be in too much or out too much. And I mean, shit can get real crazy, but
I think another thing, Erica, if you don't mind me saying, I feel like I've met a lot of people who, as soon as I meet them, I am aware that they're an empath.
Yeah.
And they are not. And I think maybe the person that submitted this question, like she said, a couple of my friends told me that I'm an empath. And so that tells me that she's new to that awareness. Oftentimes when I meet people that aren't aware, they are aware on a certain level, but perhaps they've had some experiences that have caused them to kind of just block everything out. So, they come into contact with someone, they start to feel anxious, or they start to feel that person's emotions, or they start to feel emotions of their own. Maybe at that point, they're not aware of where it's coming from. And, for the sake of not wanting to be vulnerable, or it reminding them of another experience, or possibly opening themselves up in a way that they're, protecting themselves because of a past experience. Often that seems to be where it's connected. It can be really hard to be aware that you are an empath, or just to connect the dots. And so, like we said, becoming mindful, having some kind of journaling practice. I'm so big on journaling. I feel like I'm just going to say, just journal for every question. But having some kind of practice that helps you to connect the dots and maybe look to the past a little bit, look to your childhood, look to your past relationships. All of that will just help you to become more aware of, okay, this is the way I function, this is how I tick, and moving forward, what do I want that to look like? So I think that's super important.
I love that. Yeah. Do you hear that?
No.
You don't hear that?
No.
Okay. I don't know. Maybe I don't know. You put two mediums in a Zoom room together and shit happens. So I don't know. So that's some really good advice, because if you're not aware that you are a highly sensitive person or an empath, you can just label it, just like I did my whole life, until I realized that this is an actual thing.
that it's just, that's just who you are. And you're just weird and you just have your quirks and stuff like that. But it's actually like a scientifically proven thing. And journaling is really good because journaling will allow you to look at your life and the events that occurred or the feelings that you felt with certain situations and really show you that, like, wow, you are sensitive. You do have this gift. Now you just have to learn how to hone it in and really use it as your superpower.
Yeah.
You know, that's good advice. Yeah. Journaling. I love journaling. I journal about everything. I really do. Cause it just,
I go through phases. Like,
yeah.
There's some days where it's like every day. And then there's other times where I open up my journal. I'm like, oh, it's been a month. What the heck? I must have been busy, or things must not have been bad, you know?
Right. But I feel like just knowing that that's a tool that we can have for the rest of our lives. You know what I mean? It's something that you can always go back to, and it's so helpful. So here's another question that I received. So, hi, I just tried your guided meditation from your podcast. Awesome. I'm glad that you tried it. I am having troubles actually visualizing things. Is that normal? How do I get past that? So what do you have to say?
That's pretty common. That's a super common question.
Yeah.
For me, I'll just use my own experience with that. Way back when I was starting to meditate, I would have trouble visualizing everything. But with a particular meditation that I was doing, I wanted to balance my chakras. And so I would have a hard time picturing, okay, my root chakra. Like, it's this thing that you can't really see anyway, and yet we're supposed to be, visualizing it in our mind's eye. So what I would do was take something from real life that is the same color. So I started out with, okay, root chakra is red. I know that. So what can I think of that's super easy to picture in my mind? Okay, a red apple. So I would look at the apple in my mind's eye and then slowly begin to, just focus on the red of the apple. And so now sometimes I even still go back to that, just red apple, red. Okay, now I'm seeing the red, and then just continue on. So sometimes, maybe the color is what's important. If you're supposed to be visualizing yourself on a beach, okay, well, what color is the water? I think blue is probably pretty easy. The sky, we're used to seeing blue. So maybe start that way, and then that kind of gets the ball rolling, right? Your mind can become more active, in picking up the details that you are trying to visualize.
That's a really good idea, because honestly, like, as far as visualizations are, I'm a very visual person. I astral project and travel all the time, so I never really had that problem. But that is a genius idea. Just really starting with something that's tangible, like an apple, and you go to an orange and then a lemon or something that you've seen with your own eyes, and then work your way up. And if that was the meditation that you were doing, the chakra clearing meditation that I know I have on the podcast, that's a really good way to start it. But if it's more, if you're doing like my spirit guide meditation or something like that, allow yourself to just use your imagination. You know what I mean? I feel like a lot of the times we go into meeting our spirit guides or our angels or whatever the case may be, almost a little fearful because it's the unknown. We don't know what they look like. We don't know what it's going to feel like when we're connecting with them. And don't worry so much about that. You know what I mean? Allow yourself to just use your imagination to really create your own image of your spirit guide. So if you were obsessed with Disney princesses, I actually have in one of my coaching programs, I teach you how to, meet your gatekeeper. Okay. And there's a guided meditation. And one of my clients was like, I met Moana. And she's like, and my daughter loves Moana. You know what I mean? So it's like sometimes our conscious or our subconscious mind is going to use things that are familiar to us, so it doesn't feel so scary.
Yeah.
So if that was the one, like the guided meditations for your spirit guides, go in it, like think of your favorite Disney princess, or think of like, your celebrity crush, or I don't know, something that makes you feel good and safe and secure. And throughout time, the more you connect with your guides, the more you're going to see what they actually want you to see.
Absolutely. Or what you need to see
Exactly.
to trust that it's them. Because I honestly don't believe that our spirit guides are walking around, as a monk or a Native American healer. Like maybe they were in a lifetime on Earth, but I think they show up how we need them to. And so if it is a Disney character, if it is, something super familiar to you, then totally fine.
Right.
Who's to judge, right? It's nobody else's experience but your own. And if it's meaningful to you, then
that's all that matters.
Yeah.
I mean, that's a big thing. I mean, that's another topic where it's like, angels, we have to remember that they are not in physical form. Exactly. And they're not attached to any sort of physical look or anything physical. They're light beings. Mm-hmm. So they can be whatever the freak they want to be. They can be whatever they want to be. If they want to be a Greek god-looking guy, if they want to be a nun or a monk or whatever the case may be, they're going to use what you have already stored in your subconscious mind to come through.
Yep.
So, it might look like your grandmother. It might look like someone from your childhood or whatever the case may be. And that's why I'm so obsessed with learning about the mind as well when doing this work, because so much of this work, this spiritual work, is through our mind.
Yeah.
So that I love that idea though. Just start with something that and work your way up.
Something you see every day, your mind is already, if you close your eyes, I think anyone can picture an apple.
Right. Yeah, I would hope so. Okay. So let me see what else I have. So here's another question that I received. Hey, so I stumbled on your account on the For You page, and I don't believe it was a pure coincidence. About a month ago, I started getting a feeling that a past loved one's soul is trying to find me, but I don't know if this is a real feeling or what. I'm new to all my beliefs about the afterlife, so I'm still trying to understand it. Is there a way I can figure out who that loved one is, or if they really are looking for me? I do believe that when people die, they eventually find their way back to the people they love. So I would love to have some insight on this. Thanks.
Interesting.
Yeah. So with this question, the first thing I would say is, where is this feeling coming from? Was this a dream that you had? Was it just like a clear feeling that like just popped into your mind? Have there been indications? Have there been signs? Like, I can really go in many different directions with this one.
Mm-hmm. I think what's really interesting is how I think we need to point out, first of all, that she says a past loved one might be looking for me. They're not looking for you. They know where you are. There's no like layers that they need to travel through to find you, to see you, to connect with you, and to be with you. So, is she asking, it could be, 3 different people? Okay, well then that makes it a little more tricky to answer. But if she's already feeling like, okay, this could be this specific person, well, there's your answer. Like, I think there's so many times where it's the first person that pops into your mind. If you feel like one of your loved ones is trying to connect with you, then they are. Like, there's not much more to it than that. Not something that's hard for them. It's just hard to get through to us or convince us or make us believe. But they're not searching for you. They're not lost walking in the dark looking for your house. It's not like that. So yeah.
That's very true. So there's a difference. There's ghosts and then there's spirit. Spirit ascends, they go back to heaven. They're living their best life. And yes, you're completely true when it's like they're not looking for us. They know exactly where we are at all times. They are keeping us safe. They're checking in on us. They're watching our lives and all of the special things that happen in our lives. They're always around. And ghosts are a little different. I'm not an expert in ghosts, but ghosts are essentially spirits that never ascend, that stay on this physical plane. And that's more of a paranormal thing. But don't ever think that your loved ones are just walking around aimlessly lost, because they're not.
No,
you know, they're not. And it's true where it's like they're sending us signs and symbols and letting us know that they are okay every single day. Every single day. They're using nature, they're using numbers, they're using things that are familiar to us, and we are the ones that are missing it.
Yeah. I mean, how many feathers, how many dimes, how many butterflies do you need?
Exactly.
Right?
Right.
If it gets to the point where you feel like, oh, someone's trying to connect with me and, you know, they're getting my attention, but I'm a little bit confused at who it is, they're probably going, oh my God, what else do I have to do to get your attention? You know?
Right.
So I think a lot of people, I'm going to say 99% of the time, you know who it is right away in that instant moment, but you've judged it, or you've blocked it out, or you weren't sure, or you didn't want to open yourself up to the possibility that it could be that person, you know, for maybe feeling like you might look stupid or you might be wrong, and so why believe that? But
right,
99% of the time, I'm going to say you know who it is instantly, but then your mind kind of gets in the way and clouds that knowing.
Right.
So
Absolutely.
I would say go back next time you have that feeling, or next time something happens. Try to just pause and not let your, you know, monkey mind get in the way, and your ego tell you, you know, who the heck are you, believing that your loved one is trying to reach you, or that there's a spirit around you. Like that's your ego, right? So I'm always bashing that ego, but ego is a good thing, actually.
Right.
But
keeps us safe, but we also need to put it in place from time to time.
Yeah, especially when it comes to spirit. I mean, I think that's a place where it shows up a lot. So
right. And I think we have to remember, like, especially if you are just opening up to spirit and you're still questioning, like, is this my mind, or is this like actually spirit? Spirit is fucking simple. Spirit is simple. It's our ego that's complex and that twists and makes stories and everything like that. Spirit,
so true.
It is true. And that's, I think, the biggest challenge that we have to decipher as mediums and psychics or whatever. Is it just my ego turning this into something that it's not, or is it actually spirit? And every time I do this, it's like, you have to remind yourself, spirit is simple. Spirit is simple. Simple as that. When you start feeling like it's like, oh, am I just making this story? Am I taking this piece of evidence and just manipulating it and turning it into the story that I want it to? That's ego.
If you're just trying to create a story out of the unknown, whether you want to believe that or not, I think that it's easy to be uncomfortable with something that's unknown and try to make sense of it with the most logical thing that pops into your mind.
Right.
So, you know, we can easily trick ourselves into believing something that's not really there.
Right. Absolutely. Absolutely. So here's our last question. So this might be a strange question. I think we're both used to those strange questions. But
my whole life is a strange question.
When I first started doing your intuitive exercises, I kept picking the one that gave me a rush feeling and getting it wrong. Now I recognize I get a calm, almost nothingness feeling in a good way. Feel to the ones that you send good energy to. And now I get almost all of them right. Awesome. With the exception of the number ones. I am wondering, is the feeling unique to you and your energy, or is it unique to how I am processing feeling the emotion? Hopefully that makes sense. Okay, I need to
Can you fill me in on what the exercise was?
So in TikTok, I do these intuitive exercises where I say, I chose one of these photos and I show 3 photos and I send Reiki healing energy to one to really like bounce, to really send that energy. And I say, you know, don't try to read me. Don't try to read my body language because that's not what psychic and intuitive information is. And I'm surprised at how many people get these right.
Wow.
Yeah. And sometimes I'll do like, I chose a number between 1 and 10 or 1 and 50 or something like that. And I say intuition is the first thing that always comes up.
Yeah.
So, you know, feel into it. Does it feel good? And I'm just trying to I'm trying to make sense of her question. So I am wondering if the feeling is unique to you and your energy, or is it unique to how I am processing feeling the energy? Okay, I think I understand. So what I believe you're trying to say is if the intuitive feeling is unique to everybody, like it's different for everyone, or is it different because of how you process the energy you're feeling?
Okay. That's hurting my brain a little bit.
Okay, so, and I've stated this before, intuition feels different for everybody.
Yeah.
For everybody.
The question is the same.
Right.
The answer is the same to both of those. You are a unique human being.
Right.
And your way of processing information is unique to your experience as you as that human being.
Right. Exactly. Yeah. So a perfect example is if, say there's a blue dress and me and Jenny are looking at this dress and it has some purple hue to it, right? Like almost like the third eye, you know what I mean? Where it's not blue, but it's not purple. Mm-hmm. She might go and say, oh, that's royal blue. But I'll go and say, no, it's indigo. That's my perception of it. And that's her perception of it. It does not mean that she's right or I'm right or one of us is wrong. It means that that's how my visual representation of that color is. Mm-hmm. So, you know, for me, when I get an intuitive hit, I know that it feels good. Like it feels calm. It feels quiet. I know it to be true. And when I know that it's not an intuitive hit, I just don't feel that calmness. What is it for you?
I would agree with that. I think a lot of times it's a matter of like teasing apart all the different directions that the intuitive hit is coming in from. So like, are you seeing it, feeling it, hearing it, just knowing it, you know, like where in my body? And a lot of times when I go back to that like first initial, you know, reaction that my human reacted with, I think that's where you got to go back to, because just like the question before where we said our mind wants to fill in this long story. And if you just go back to the initial contact, right? Yeah. That's how you'll know. And so for me, it's usually just that like solar plexus hit of like, boom, you know, there's something here.
Right.
And then that just comes with the knowing that, yeah, I didn't make that up. I didn't create that. That's something that is coming in and it's information and it's important and I should pay attention.
Right. I agree. So to answer your question, I think what we're trying to say is it doesn't matter if it's you, how you process the information. It's how it feels for you. What does it feel for you? Does your heart start to pump more? Do you get itchy? I mean, it was weird when I started really learning how my intuition spoke with me, my right ear would get like itchy.
Really?
Yeah. And intuition always comes with a physical response. That's just,
I get a buzzing, like I feel like my brain, I can feel, it's so strange, but I feel like I can feel my brain. And there's like a buzzing, humming up here. And then also in my chest, I will feel just a really full buzzing, whirling kind of feeling there too. And I think that that's super connected with solar plexus as well. Like I said, for me, right? Different for everybody.
Right. I mean, you should get your human design read. It's
Yes, I
so
should.
fascinating. It's so fascinating because my power point is my sacral. And that's all about intuition and how I literally, and the way she read it. So she was actually on the podcast, but the way she was describing how my brain works and how I basically go through my everyday life, I was like, oh my God, it's spot on. Like, I don't do anything without asking my intuition. It's just a natural response that I've always had.
Yeah.
And that's basically because my powerhouse is my sacral chakra. And it's just,
Cool.
yeah,
Yeah.
it's so
I would
informative.
look into that.
Yeah. So, but yeah, I wouldn't get so wrapped up in like, is it the way we process the emotion or whatever? It doesn't matter. You're getting a hit. You know what I mean? It's you understanding how your energetic system works, what intuition feels like to you, how it comes in. Just like Jeni said, she says like she feels her brain.
Yeah.
So for me, when I connect with my one gatekeeper, my one like main manager up there of my dream team, I literally feel it coming in at the top of my head.
Me too.
His download, you know what I mean? That I know that it's coming from him. It's always in one particular spot on my skull and it comes through. I know it's crazy, but the more you do this, the more you work on your intuition, the more you're going to know what it feels like, you know?
And I think as a beginner, I think what's really common for people picking up, psychic energy or spirit in general, I'm just trying to generalize it. I think that kind of feeling a little bit woozy in the stomach, that kind of like nervous, anxious.
Right.
It's a gut feeling, but again, it's new to us, or it's kind of a foreign feeling, and so we want to attach it to anxiety, or we want to attach it to fear, when really that's just your brain trying to make sense of it. So the gut feeling can often feel like you're going to vomit or like you're just, oh, something's not right here, or should I be afraid? And again, you go back to that initial feeling, oh, I have a gut feeling here. And then are you filling it in with something inaccurate?
Right.
So you have to be super mindful with yourself.
Right. And that's so true, because like even us, I feel like we can be guilty of storytelling where it's like we get the initial hit, we get the psychic hit, we get the intuitive hit, and then our ego steps in and we create this story from this one piece of evidence, and it's untrue.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And that's why it's just so, meditation is so important when you're doing this work. It is so important in general, but I hope that helped you clear things up. Like, don't worry so much if it's like how you analyze it or how, and it's going to feel different for everybody. It's going to feel different for everybody. Don't worry about how it comes through. Just be mindful of how your intuition speaks to you.
Yep.
Those were some pretty interesting questions.
I like them.
Yeah, they were good. They definitely touched on basically a lot of different topics, which I enjoyed. So guys, be sure, we're going to be doing this every month where we're going to be answering your questions. If you have a question that you want us to answer, head on over and write us an email at questions@ericarusso.co, and we will be happy to take a look, and hopefully we will have time to answer your questions. Again, this is going to be a once a month thing, so be patient with us, but we will definitely depict and decipher whatever it is you are going through. So Jeni, thank you so much for coming on.
Thanks, Erica.